everyone. Welcome to Tuesday edition, if you're watching it on Tuesday, of Take 5. We're calling it 5 on 10, 5 minutes on the 10 Commandments. And it's taken us 5 shows now. This is the 5th one, and we're on the second command. But even before we start the second command, we've been talking about who is the law for. It was written to Israel. Does it apply to the Christian people today? We're saying, in a sense, yes. I wanted to read... reading with my staff right now a book on theology by an Australian theologian named Michael Bird, and I just came across these words the other day, and I thought, this will apply to Take 5. Listen to what he says. The law was intended neither as a ladder to God nor as a basis for salvation. Remember that. We're not saying follow these 10 commandments so that you can climb a ladder up and get to God. That's not it at all. The law was given to a redeemed people. We already said that. Israel first and foremost, and then by implication in a spiritual way to the people of the new covenant, which are Christians. The law was given to a redeemed people, not to redeem the people. Not to redeem the people, for Israel's discipline and devotion, to point Israel to the redemption that's to come, to point them to say, you can't fulfill this, but Messiah will come who will fulfill it for you. And then this becomes a standard of basically of how to live. One other thing I just want to, with Christ the law ends. The law is fulfilled not in the sense of being nullified. It is recast in a new mode of expression, distilled into the love command and appropriated for the multi-ethnic church. In other words, and I'll put him down. There you heard the sound of the big book crashing. When Christ came and he said he came to fulfill the law, didn't completely do away with it, but now the command is love. And so these commands, which are still a framework of God's ethics for his people, but now, as opposed to just sort of an external obedience, they need to be driven internally by love, by grace, by love. Okay, I said my piece. Command number 2, ready? You shall make no carved images. No carved likeness, or paraphrase, no idols. The command is about our worship now, that our worship should be spiritual, that it should be real, sincere. As Calvin said, I've been reading Calvin's Institutes. He does a really good long section on the 10 Commandments, so he's helping me through this a lot. The command addresses who God is, or what sort of God is he. He is spiritual, and he is over all creation. And so our worship is meant to be spiritual. Christ said you are to worship in spirit and in truth. It's spiritual, so which means our worship is not to be regulated by physical things or by physical idols or by human superstitions. It's not to be regulated by anything spiritual. In some ways, because God is spiritual and creator of all, he made everything. And so anything that is not him, let's say this cup or the sun or the moon, is unworthy of our worship because God made it. The one who made it is the one who is worthy of our worship. Let me read to you Psalm 115, starting in verse 4. Idols are silver and gold, and they're made by human hands. And then he's almost poking a joke. They have mouths but can't speak, eyes but can't see, ears but can't hear, noses but can't smell, hands but can't feel, feet but can't walk. They cannot make a sound with their throats. Those who make them are just like them, as are all who trust in them. People become just like the idols that they worship. And so his conclusion, verse 9, Psalm 115, Israel, trust in the Lord. House of Aaron, trust in the Lord. You who fear the Lord, trust in the Lord. In other words, anything that we make, and this show is going to need to go 2 weeks, so tomorrow will be Command 2 as well, Thursday. Anything that we would make, either in ancient idolatry or in our idols of today, they're unworthy of our worship. I'm going to stop there. But know that God only is worthy of our worship, and anything that we would make to replace him. And Calvin said our hearts are idol factories. We'll deal with that tomorrow. Anything that we would make to replace him are unworthy of our worship. They can't handle our worship. They can't hear our worship. God alone is worthy of our worship. Okay, that's just the introduction to command number 2. Tomorrow we'll go through it a little bit more. I'll see you Thursday. Have a great day. I'm out.